Good morning and welcome to another session of we're walking through the tarot. We don't really
Yes.
we don't have a title, do
No,
we? We should have a
but we're
title.
we're exploring the cups today.
We're exploring the cups today. We did the wands on our last video. Recap was all about fire, was all about inspiration, movement, how to get yourself motivated, basically. It's the Mr.
Yes.
Motivator suit.
And now we're putting the feeling into
And
it.
now we're putting the feeling into it
So
because
we've got the emotions, the feelings, the I suppose it's the creativity, isn't it? But it's that sort of emotional inspiration that you get, putting the feeling into the idea that we've brought together, the ambition really, and then we're putting the feeling into it, putting our emotions into it.
And we've chosen for it to follow the wands because the idea behind it was that when you've got your ambition, that's great, you've got your inspiration, but if you don't have your intuition, if you don't have the emotional grounding to see your way through, it just is, it burns up. It's fire, it burns up. We need the water to cool the fire. And actually, I kind of think about it as you bring the water and fire together and it creates steam. It creates what actually cooks the idea and allows it to come to fruition.
When we add any of the elements to the cups, to the water, it creates that movement, doesn't it? So the water on its own is just still. So we need the other elements to come in to avoid stagnation, don't we, really? So
I think of it in terms of, like, when you look at water in nature, so you can have calm water, you can have roiling water, like you think of an ocean in a storm with like 100-foot waves and all of this,
a waterfall that comes crashing
down, but you also get the beautiful life-giving water that comes from a spring and comes bubbling up from the earth. So water is it's so synonymous with life, but water can also, can run its banks, right? Water can flood. And when it floods, it stagnates. When it floods, it creates damp and heaviness. You need to have the other elements of the other cups to keep it. Well, they need each other. They all need each other, because without that, you don't have any.
We don't have the balance.
You don't have the balance. You don't corral the water.
And if we went into something purely on an emotional level, without bringing any logic into it, without bringing the ambition that keeps us motivated, and the inspiration, with the one's inspiration and the one's intuition that comes really from the spirit, and then the water in the cup's intuition that comes from within, if we don't bring them all together, then we're just left with, we're not productive, are we?
No. We get lost. We
get lost in the emotions, don't we? And that's when we get the stagnation.
And we can become quite apathetic with it, I think. We can become stuck in fantasy rather than the wands have the fire to motivate us to move forward. Whereas this, we can get lost. And we do have a card about that in the deck, where you get lost in fantasy, where you're so busy dreaming up ideas, but there's no fire to move the dream forward.
No, and there's no practicality to move it forward either.
Absolutely. And no intellect to work through things. So, right. So, yes, we should start. Actually, we should jump in and say, welcome to the Soul Salon.
Thank you. And to 8 Red Trees.
Thank you very much. We should have probably introduced ourselves again at the beginning.
That's fine. Well, I think everybody knows us now.
Well, I think
unless you've jumped on part way through the series, which is fine.
In which case, welcome.
Welcome. You can do it in any order you want. Whatever you feel drawn to is fine. I think we've got a little lady that wants to join us.
That's my little dog in the background. I might actually let her come in, because I think she might.
I think she wants to join in.
She wants to join in with the energy. Come on in if you're coming in.
Shall we put the other cards for the ace?
Yes, I think so.
Shall we?
And again, just to reiterate, in case you've jumped in on this series here, the reason we're doing this is because we were talking about how there's so many decks, there's so many ways of showing cups, and each illustrator and author has a different idea, don't they? They've
Yeah.
got a different idea of what they're trying to say with the cups. And we thought it would be really helpful for people, because in teaching, people tend to focus on the Rider-Waite-Smith.
Yeah.
And that's great because it's the traditional seminal deck. But it's important to see that, while we need the foundation of the card meanings that have been handed down, we also need to have our intuition, which is what the artists do. It's everybody's got a slight interpretation.
It is. Well, even to this, because this is the radiant, I can't remember what it's got. Radiant Rider-Waite, is it?
And sorry about that. We had a little mishap with an elderly dog looking a bit overly tired. So we're starting again, and we're going to pick up here.
Yeah, so we were just saying that this version is the Radiant Rider-Waite.
This is the Radiant Rider-Waite.
So the colouring is slightly different. It's based on the original artwork, but it's slightly
the color is more modern. The color is much more primary, I think.
It is, yeah.
And then we've got, this is the Barbara Moore.
It's the Alice.
It's the Alice. It's the Tarot in Wonderland deck.
And the artwork's by Eugene Smith.
That's it. Eugene Smith, Barbara Moore.
And then we've got the Light Seers by Chris Ann. And the Wild Unknown by Kim Kranz.
The Pocket Animal Spirit deck. Yeah. Yes.
No, this is the Wild Unknown. We've got the Pocket Animal Spirit deck at the side as well. That's the
we do. Tarot. Sorry, that's my mistake.
No,
sorry.
You're all right.
So, right. So when we start with cups, if you look here, I think, again, you said something earlier, which is important to reiterate, that the wands are spirit, but also cups are spirit. But the wands, are, to me, are the magician spirit.
Yeah,
a lot more of looking at how to manifest, how to take all the elements and use your alchemy. For me, cups align with the priestess, the high priestess,
and
intuition, internal. You're still with spirit, but you're looking behind the veil. You're running to go down the rabbit hole, whereas the magician's on the surface. Yeah.
There's a beautiful depiction of the high priestess. I know we're going off topic a little bit, but where it's a hand mirror, and I can't remember which deck it's in, and it's almost calling you to look within for the answers. The answers are within.
Yeah.
So I think that's very much the cups energy.
Yeah.
That the answers are within. We need
you.
to look within. Whereas with the wands, we're connecting to everything that is.
Yes.
With the cups.
Yes.
We're going within.
And cups for me, even though it's water, which does move, I see the cups as more relating to stillness. The cups is more about that intuitive, that contemplative mindfulness, going deep within, like you said.
It's a meditative state.
It's a meditative state. And I think when you look here, because this is obviously based on, a couple hundred years old worth of ideas, you've got a religious aspect here of the wafer and the Holy Spirit.
Yes.
And based in the Christian Catholic tradition, the wafer becomes the idea that it's Jesus made manifest during the Mass, So again, the reason I bring that up is because it calls into the mysteries. This is the idea of the mysteries. This is the ghost, the Holy Spirit. It's making manifest, but you have to believe. You have to believe that is happening. You put your faith in. Yeah.
Whereas within the more modern decks, it's almost like you have the ability to bring that. You don't need any sort of go between. We don't need anybody else to connect us, whether we feel that connection's with God or whether we feel that connection is just with the universe, the creator, whatever you want to call it, with source. It's handing you back. I love this. I want to say it's handing you back here that power.
Yes.
That you are actually the conduit. You don't need somebody else to be that conduit for you.
Yeah, I like that. And I like the idea also, when you look at these, all the vessels are whole.
Yeah.
So the chalice, like historically, the symbolism of the chalice was spiritual. It's the Holy Grail, isn't it? It's the search for, to me, to me, it almost symbolizes a search for nirvana. It's the
Yes.
search for that true spiritual wholeness that is life-giving. You know, the idea was if you drank from the Holy Grail that you had eternal life.
Yes.
So it's the idea of finding your spiritual immortality. And I do like the continuity here
Yes.
of it's falling in, and then this will then get evaporated. You see here, it gets evaporated back up and it falls down again.
It back here, don't you? So you've got the movement here with the waterfall, but you've
Absolutely.
got the clouds above, knowing that that will
continue, that it brings it, the clouds allow for the evaporation of the water.
Here I see we've got the steam, haven't we?
Yes, absolutely.
Going.
And I love that in this she's holding it to her heart.
Yeah, because
we sat in the heart.
It's the beginning of the emotion, isn't it?
Yes.
Whether that's a romantic love or whether that's a friendship,
yes.
whether it's you know
platonic love, romantic love.
But whether it's
connecting to two people, though.
That child loving a child, it can very often, I think, with the Ace of Cups, I always see it that if you've got the Empress around it, or maybe sort of the Two of Cups, it's that card that can denote the
beginnings of romantic
but the beginnings of life. It can tell us pregnancy.
I see what you the growth of family.
It's always interesting for me with the tarot that when we lay the cards out, it's very much dependent on what cards are around them.
And this is also why I thought it's really important to again show different depictions, because they all give you bringing them together. It's like a collaboration, isn't it? Where if you send 4 people off to study the same subject and bring them back, they'll all have a different viewpoint on how to take it, and each one is valid and important.
I like how this just really simplifies it. That's like, this is very much the beginning of an emotion.
Yes. So
what's your take?
I love the word. This makes me think of a mosaic in like a swimming baths, or an old Greek or Roman mosaic. And you've got the light, you've got spirit coming into a very to me, this chalice is absolutely full. It is not full as in like full of content, but it's so solid. It looks like, to me, that's silver, and that is heavy and solid and stability, and that utter belief of faith is in this. You haven't had it shaken yet. Your emotions are pure. You don't need to negate your emotions at this stage. You live through them almost like a child does. Everything is raw and in its true, unadulterated state. And I think cups, and this, coming back to this one, also shows, so in traditional Chinese medicine, the heart is called the emperor. Because the heart is the center of almost every emotion that passes through. So whatever affects any of the other organs within the body will also affect the heart. And it's said that the heart houses the mind. So the heart has that spirit connection.
I think we've been taught, haven't we, over the years, to put so much emphasis on the brain as being the controlling element of the body, but actually without the heart beating, the brain can't function.
And the brain really is a conduit. The brain takes all that information from the emotive area
and then sends it out.
Absolutely.
So to me, the cups really bring that importance of the emotion. As much as we've said, or as much as I've said, if it's just pure emotion, we're not practical and we're not getting things done. But without the emotion, we don't achieve the same, because love's what drives everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Love drives everything, doesn't it? If you don't have love for something, you destroy it. You're either apathetic towards it and it stagnates and it fades away, or you destroy it, and nothing grows if you don't have love.
Love is the only true emotion, isn't it? That's our natural state of being, is love. It's all other emotions all other feelings come from us not being complete in that love. And fear is the exact opposite of love.
Absolutely.
And sort of anger and everything, and hate, really are driven by fear. So it's the fact that love is the most important thing. As a medium, I'm very sort of clear on that, you know, at the end of the day, that's why people come to see me, because of the grief that's by the loss of love.
Yeah. They've lost something, they've lost someone, and they're desperate to speak about it. Now, I'd like to lay this so people can see it as we go, but I think we might run out of room.
That's okay.
We'll eventually be able to move them over here, I think. So
if we look at the two,
if we look at the Two of Cups, so in the Rider-Waite-Smith,
and then we've got the Light Seers. Should we put those to that side? Does that work better?
Yeah, and there we
I
go.
really love this one.
That's beautiful, isn't it? Absolutely beautiful, that is.
You know, it's bringing together, isn't it? That and the duality with it. So, you know, we're bringing in different, totally different people. We've got the different skin tones there to say that love, there's no boundaries with love.
No, you're right.
The Two of Cups to me is very much the soulmate card. I always say this to people. People, when they come for a reading on romantic relationships, always want the lovers. And I say, yeah, but the lovers is the big flashy gestures to me. It can denote those big gestures, you know, like, I'm going to whisk you off to Paris for the weekend, I'm going to buy you flowers every week. Whereas to me, the Two of Cups is very much that, I'm going to bring you breakfast in bed. I'm going to bring you tea and toast on your day off. And to me, to be fair, I'd rather have tea and toast on my day off in bed than somebody whisk me off to Paris. I mean, that might just, because I think that's a normal everyday relationship.
Yeah, I agree with you.
You know, we've got to be happy in the everyday within the relationship. To then, you know, if we do get whisked off to Paris, oh, very nice, you know, that's lovely. But if it's just that,
it's too big.
It's too, it's not
big.
Real.
It's not real.
It's not everyday life. I think what I'm trying to say is this is about everyday life.
Yeah.
You
can't take grand gestures forever. They're exhausting, because grand gestures by their very nature are emotive. They're grand, and you have a lot of emotion tied up in them. It feels fantastic. You're all excited. You're happy. But if you had to exist and sustain that level of emotive feeling all the time, it would kill you. Yeah, it would be exhausting. You can't. I think about when I've been on holiday, and at first you're really excited, and you're excited to thinking about eating out. So you go somewhere. I mean, now it's obviously much more common for people to stay in bed and breakfast and things. But when I was growing up, you went to a hotel.
Yeah.
So I know you could get your food at any time, but it was always, you went out, you ate out. Yeah. This was the exciting thing. And you know, by the end of a week, I just wanted home cooked food, right?
I wanted beans on toast.
I wanted cheese on toast, made with a bit of tomato on it,
and a
decent cup of tea. And you just, because I don't care how fancy,
simplicity of everyday life. That it's very much the fact to me of creating that
sustainability of a relationship.
Sustainability, and I suppose creating a life that you want to be in every day.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's all very well having a life where you want to escape it by going on holiday.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Yeah.
But I'd rather have a life that I'm happy in every day.
Well, if you're wanting to escape it, you're not happy in your life. If you only want to live through the big grand gestures, and I think social media is a danger of this, because the media
is fed this idealistic relationship where it's like, this is what we do, and we wear matching pajamas, and we do this and we do that,
and it doesn't, you know what it does, it takes out emotion. It doesn't allow for you to have your everyday emotions, which we all have.
Airbrushing it, isn't it?
It's airbrushing it, because some days, do you know what, you don't sleep well. I didn't sleep well last night. My back was killing me, and I'm flatter today than I would normally be, and that's okay. That's just how I feel today. So my other half accepts that. He was like, okay, you're feeling a bit. He said, just try and take it easy today. And accept that if he then said, oh, I've got this really grand gesture to take you out on, I'm not going to be enthusiastic. No. I'm like, I'm tired and I don't want to do it. And that's okay.
And it's the fact that sometimes it's okay to be grumpy.
It is. Yeah.
Some we don't mean it. That's just life. Some days when you are tired and depleted,
yes,
or you're worried about something, and it makes you grumpy. When I'm hungry, I'm grumpy.
Oh, I'm terrible for getting hangry. The older I get, the more hangry I get. And I like the simplicity. And yet in the Rider Waite, what I find interesting is with having the caudicus and having it's like again, I think of this is the do no harm, isn't it? Yeah. This is what you get with the medical community of do no harm. That this is a place you can come, that you're safe, and that people are altruistic and will take your heart and take care of it. Yeah, but it's topped by the lion, which is Leo, which is a fire.
It is fire. So it's got to be that.
There's passion. There's passion going on there.
I mean, even in friendships, there's got to be some element that brings you together.
Yes.
There's absolutely. That initial, whether it's the conversation or it's the fact that you want to go. I think we said this last time, you want to go out and have a great time. Something brings you together, and then we get that deeper.
And somebody inspires you. Yeah. Somebody sparks you. Yeah. And you think, oh, I really like being with them, because you need to have a bit of that.
All my friends, I like to have interesting conversations with.
Absolutely.
And with my husband as well. I like to have I want to talk. I want to have conversations very often.
That actually, again, when you show all of these, it's the intertwined. Everything is intertwined. So wherever you look, it's a coming together of two people who are and we must also say this. I mean, generally we tend to think of them as two externals coming together, but actually this can also be, your water and your fire. As was pointed out, I was reading up a little bit earlier, and it was a reminder that he looks very much like the Fool. Yeah. His outfit is very much like the Fool. And it's a throwing your lot in and a coming together of the two parts of yourself. Yeah. Being able to talk to yourself and love yourself for who you are, your shadow and your light side, all of this, this I think for me illustrates it more. And here you've got, because you've got the black hand and the white hand, here you've got two species. It's two disparate things coming together and joining, and in doing so they're finding themselves as a whole. Yeah,
I suppose it's because we've got the two different genders. That's
a good point. Yes, absolutely.
We've got the genders, but it's also, when you say about the Fool here, it's also about, we have to sort of take that Fool energy a little bit when we enter into a relationship or even into a friendship. You have to take a bit of a chance that this is,
a little bit of a gamble.
There's no guarantees that it's going to work.
No.
There's no guarantees that you are going to connect on whatever level. So it's sort of like, it's throwing your heart into the ring a bit.
And, bit of chance going on in there. A little bit of the Wheel of Fortune.
Whereas we can have that where we build up a wall around ourselves because we've been hurt in the past. So it's about taking that chance, isn't it?
Do you know what I was thinking as we stack these? We can, just so that anybody watching can, if they want to keep studying the cards while we're talking, let's just put them back. I thought we wouldn't have space.
That's very clever.
I know. There you go. Some days, I love it when everything's organized. It makes me happy. There you go. There's my my need for stability. I need that to happen.
I was going to say Delilah thinks that's a good idea, because
she sighed happily, isn't she?
Say, well, she'd already thought of that. I better get the cards out, haven't I?
Right.
There's me just
so
around.
We've got the Three of Cups now.
Okay.
And the Three of Cups is joyous.
Yeah, it's joy. It's friendship.
It's friendship.
It's that. I always think of this as having each other's backs as well.
Yeah,
you're a tight unit. You have fun together. You enjoy, but you also look out for each other as well.
And you fly in formation.
Yeah.
I think of like a starling's murmuration. Yeah. That's the three. It's joyous. You know what?
The colours are joyous here.
The colours are joyous.
There's that passionate, energetic, powerful
primary
colors.
colors. There's a lot of primary colors here, and you can't see where one ends and the other begins. It's a
like
total
that.
coming together, and it's that it's not frivolity. It's got a deepness. It's a true joy in this card. It's saying, I'm going to really smell the roses where I am. I'm going to be so present in the moment that I am just going to be thankful you're there. I'm not going to worry about what we're going to eat for supper. I'm not going to worry about how we're going to get home. I'm not going to worry about anything. We are totally absorbed in this moment of pure, unadulterated joy. And it doesn't even have to be necessarily, and again, as we said earlier, it depends what surround a card. But while this tends to be the joy of, say, community or family or coming together of others, I also think about having like the pure joy of doing, say, a hobby, or even being like you out in nature,
anything
you're walking,
that brings
and anything
that joyous feeling
where you commune with the environment you're in. You know what I mean? Like you can be, I think when I walk the dogs, and there's such a beautiful walk around here, and I look out over these beautiful fields, and you get this sense of being part of nature, of an environment, and that brings me joy. It makes
I would understand that about being. I love to walk through the trees with the dogs, and it's like, oh my goodness, it's almost like I'm absorbing all that energy.
And the history of them, like
because of everything that they've stood and seen.
Going through the graveyard at the church down the road, and the old unused one where you've got headstones from like the 1700s, and there's a few trees there, and one is really low, like the branches have come very low. I think the ground's probably raised up over time, so the trunk looks really short, but you walk underneath these amazing boughs. And yesterday, with it being the lunar eclipse, we were walking in the evening, and I stood under it for just a few minutes, but stood under it, and you could feel the weight of the history. It was so amazing. This energetic sense of, I was so desperate for like it to be an ent, like in Lord of the Rings, where I could touch it and it would talk to me, because I thought, what can you tell me? The history in it, and that brought me joy. That brought me a lot of joy.
But I love that you could stand there, couldn't you? Just put your hands to it and just absorb that energy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, as well, if we look at it from the more pippish kind of cards, and we take away the imagery, it's very much, isn't it, that emotional growth?
Yes.
So it's sometimes it can be bringing that extra element into it. So it can be a friendship where we're bringing another friend into that group. It's almost like you look here, isn't it? You've got the two together and there's one coming in. Or you could have the couple that are bringing in a child.
That's true. Yes.
But it's that growth, isn't it? It's that growth, and it's like it always makes me think of when you've got one child and being pregnant with another and thinking, how can I love another child the same way I love that first child? But you realize that you've got more than enough love. It's just that love grows, and you've got more than enough love for however many children you've got. And I think that this card very much reminds me of that realization.
It's expansive, isn't it?
Your heart can expand with love.
Yes.
And I suppose it's the lessons that come with love as well. It could even be bringing somebody else where there's another person in the relationship, that there's
absolutely,
there's a
polyamorous relationship.
Well, either polyamorous relationship, or that there's a bit of a cheating element.
Oh, I see what you mean.
It could be both. If we were looking at it from that, dependent on the cards around it. But it's that growth, isn't it, that would come through love. And it's very much the fact of sometimes, all the feelings that we get aren't necessarily joyous feelings.
This is very true. I mean,
growing in a relationship and realizing the fact that not every day's you go through the honeymoon period and realizing that at some point we get into real life again.
And that third wheel comes in that changes it. And I think when I look at this, you see, if I look at the colors, you've got the root chakra, the Muladhara colors leading into the Svadhisthana colors and then up into the solar plexus.
So you've got the security, and then you've got the passion, and then you've got the self-confidence,
and it's the outward growth. So your root chakra and Svadhisthana are very much about your relationship with yourself. So your root is your growth, your initial growth, where you put your roots down, and then your Svadhisthana is your sexual energy, your creative energy, but it's you're learning to love yourself. It's learning to find out who you are. And then when you get into the solar plexus and the Manipura, now it's how you send that out to the world and how you interact with those. And that very much, the birds here are sitting up in the yellow of the Manipura. How do we share that love with each other?
So we've come from the security of being here with the two.
And this takes courage, because it takes a lot of courage to step out from behind, say, your mother's apron, as we would traditionally say, and to step out into the world without that behind you. You know it's there, you know you've got your grounding, but anything that you now create into a third takes you beyond the nice little compact unit you were in, and you now, there's a vulnerability that comes with the joy. By being truly joyous, like you think when people share things online, and that takes real courage sometimes, because to share your true passion online, I think of the early days of like YouTube, the internet, when you had all those memes that came, or not memes, like you remember the Star Wars kid who was doing the lightsabers and all of this, and I mean, to me, he was just being in the moment. It was pure joy. But other people can see that. And if they don't have the context or choose not to feel the emotion you were feeling, they can really make fun of you. They can turn around. So there's a vulnerability in allowing your joy to come through. It makes you stronger, but to initially step through, it takes a lot of courage.
Yeah. I like that.
Right. Okay. So moving right along now, because this is emotions, and at the moment it's all been joyous,
and then
it's all been happy.
Stability, haven't we?
But
the fours of stability.
But they can also be
this. I always think this card is very much like, looking at these. This is apathy.
Yes, stagnation. And the problem of it is it's self-inflicted. Yeah. Because when I look at this, he just sees what he's lost, can't see the dolphin, bringer of joy, holding up a cup that's still raising. Same here, offering you an opportunity or something amazing, but you're so busy looking at your empty. Yeah.
And again, apathetic. Here you've got the 3 cups here, and there's the one that's being offered with all the opportunity.
Turned away from it.
Turned away, not looking. He's not looking. And then here we've got the rat that's going across. It's almost like that toxic
disease, which I hate to say, because I love rats. I think rats are amazingly intelligent creatures.
Just makes me
but
feel
symbolically,
like it's tainting it, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's tainting the joy that we've had.
Yes,
and allowing that to taint our lives, because something's changed. Yeah, and we're not comfortable with what's changed. So
I think sometimes you get it, like sometimes that apathy is just part of growth, though. It's you start a new hobby and you love it, and you throw yourself in and you buy all the gear, and it's really new and there's all this novelty, and you're learning, and you hit a plateau where you've reached, say, I don't know, your first colored belt in martial arts, I don't know, whatever, and then
it gets a bit
you got to start again. You're at the next level, and you've been elevated, and now you're with a group who's been practicing longer than you have, who knows more, and you've gone from kind of being the top
dog to
being the bottom dog again, and you can lose the shine.
Yes,
because you realize
you've got to go through it all again to grow again.
Absolutely. It's like when I remember when I used to cycle back in Canada, and you'd be going up a mountain, and somebody I used to cycle with, he said to me, don't ever look up while you're cycling. Always look at your pedals just going round and round, because when we were going up some of the mountains, you'd see what you thought was the top, and you'd be like, oh, we've almost made it. And you'd let that drive, that rhythm, you'd let it go, because you thought, oh, I'm about to coast at the top. And then you'd hit this plateau, and you'd go around a curve, and there'd be another hill. And it would go on and on and on. And he said, don't ever look up until your plateauing has made life easier. Now you look up. But he said, otherwise, you always keep looking at your pedals because you'll lose that oomph. You'll lose that drive.
Momentum, won't you?
Absolutely. And then you kind of go, oh God, no, I can't do another hill. I'm done. And that's what this makes me think of.
Yeah. I think of that with running when I used to run a lot.
There you go. Yeah.
And it's, if you did like a race, because you obviously, if you're running round where you sort of know where everything is, and you think, oh my goodness, I've got to the top, and like you say, and then it's like, oh my goodness, there's another one. I can't do it. I can't do anymore.
You pick up your pace because you think, oh, I'm sure that's near the finish line, and then you come. Actually, I remember my other half doing that when we did the first time we did a couch to 5K, and he was feeling really good as we went round the park, and then he thought the finish line was earlier than it was. So he was really tired. And he said, so I really put on this spurt to look good. Yeah. And this is a lesson. He wanted to look good for complete strangers who were standing watching, who didn't know him, who didn't care what he was doing. They were just cheering him on for the sake of he was doing it. But your ego kicks in. And he went, oh, and so I put on a spurt. And he said, as I came to a stop, one of the marshals went, no, lad, you're down the other end there. Yeah. And he looked and he said, and I thought, oh, so instead of having this amazing peacock finish, he stumbled across the line because he'd given up everything as he went. And I thought that for me really sums up. You have to be very careful. Don't get ahead of yourself. Don't get apathetic. Don't think that you've learned it all. There is always more if you look for it.
I really like this because here, I think it's on the toe, we have the rainbow there, and we've got the rainbow coming.
But the rainbow is behind her. She's not noticing it. She's turned away.
I feel like
she can't see it.
I feel like it's quite. It's not just that she's not noticing. I very often feel like she's actively turned away.
Right. Yeah.
Doesn't. It's. I suppose it's like that, isn't it? When we go, like I say, we go through the honeymoon period, and then it's real life, and
we don't like it.
No,
it's being grown up now.
Yeah.
And I don't like, again.
And this is where we can find the stagnation, isn't it? With the lack of movement.
Well, if you look at the follow-on of the cards, I'm going to take this one out because it really shows it well. This is very childlike.
Yeah.
It's whimsy, it's wonder, it's joy, pure joy. And this is being a grown-up. This is saying it's time to put the cakes away. We've had enough. We need to be sensible. You're not getting rid of it. It's not bad. It's just saying for now, we need to rein it in. We need to be steady. And this is an apathy of, I don't want to do that. I want to kick against that child in us that goes, no, I'm not done yet. Stop ruining my fun. That to me is what this can be as well.
Yeah.
Right. And so leading on from that sense of apathy, the emotions have gone from building and joyous to sort of taking a bit of a dip here, and we have to deal with dips.
We've got the grief,
we've got grief
with it.
We've got loss, we've got grief, and I think I really like the Alice deck for this because, again, riffing on what we were saying in the 4, she's so busy crying for what she's lost. She cannot see that there are still full cups there. And it makes me think of, we get, like you, fixated is a good word. We get so fixated on our grief and the feelings that it engenders at what we don't have anymore that we can't see who is still there for us. We can't see the people that are our support network. Again, I think of cups, the suit of cups for me. I really look at the developmental stages of a child.
Yeah.
And this is the kid, they lost that one toy that they had at Christmas, and they're screaming and yelling, and you've got the parents going, no, but we've got these for you as well. But no, I wanted that one thing. And sometimes, to be fair, it's because it's the first time you've experienced that level of loss.
Yeah.
You've not been used to something so integral to your life just being taken away from you.
I mean, here, obviously, we've got the bridge, haven't we? That's going to take us, to a better state of being.
Yes.
But I remember listening to an interview and somebody saying it's so important that we do actually grieve for what we don't cross that bridge until we're ready.
Yeah,
Because grief
absolutely.
is a natural process
Yeah.
that we have to go through.
It's a release. It is
It's
a
a
release
release.
of
And
energy.
here, look, she's releasing it. It's almost like she's taken
Yeah.
control of it, because we've got the 3 empty cups here and this one's full, but she's tipping that away.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
she's almost like she's ready to release
Yes.
that
Yeah.
energy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this one just makes me so sad, because I look at the horse and I just think the expression, this
Hang
artwork,
dog.
it just manages to convey that emotion. And
Yes, it does.
Perfectly.
It's hang dog, isn't it? It's very sad. It's black and white. It's there's no room when you're in this level of grief. There is no room for nuance.
Yeah.
And I think, particularly thinking of my own personal experiences through life, when I've had a breakup that I didn't initiate, and people around you mean well, and they come to you and they say
there's plenty
more fish in the sea, or you're grieving for that person. Maybe you've got anger in there as well, and people are trying to tell you the other person wasn't so bad, and you need to look at how they felt. This is what I'm saying, is the black and white. You can't. You are not
so
capable.
Simple. It's not
so simple.
Is it?
You have to grieve to cross the bridge, to find that introspection where you can look at the other person again, or the other thing, or the event, or whatever it is, and see that it wasn't necessarily focused just to try and hurt you. It was that they needed to move on. You weren't meant to walk the path with them, so they stepped away, because that was actually the healthier thing to do. Whether they did it intentionally or not. But it's hard to come to see that when you're in the midst of the grief.
It. Yeah. This, I like this here where we've got the stars. It's like we've got that guidance, haven't we? The stars are very much about guidance. But she's not ready for that yet.
No, she's just
releasing. She's dealing with things on her own. She'll turn around and maybe seek out the guidance when she's ready. But at this moment in time, I want to say it's almost like she's focused on dealing with it to get through day to day.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
This is, and I think this is when I look at this, it brings that child, like everything's spilling off. She's leaping. She can't reach it anymore. It's out of her reach. There's almost
we need to close the curtains. We need to sort of like the finale.
The finale needs to happen. We need to say enough is enough, but she just can't. It's almost like tantrum when the child. I remember as a kid, I had this little knitted blanket. It was only about that big, and it was brown and lime green, because it's the 70s, right? So it was brown and lime green. But I used to suck my thumb, and this was my blankie when I was really little. And my brother, who was older than me, mom, dad, it was that day and age where we really weren't as good with kids as we've learned to be now. So it was, you're getting a bit older. I was only about 4 or 5, but it was, but maybe it's time to get rid of it. Maybe it's time to get rid of it. And my brother, being a boy a brother, basically a kid, I should say, who didn't really understand the implications of what he was doing. We had a fireplace. Yeah, you know what's coming. Where this is going. And he said, stop being such a baby, just throw it in the fire. Well, I don't understand that when I put this on the fire, I can't get it back. So to prove a point to him, I was just like, you're not going to bully me, I'll show you. So I threw it on the open fire.
Oh, God.
Well, it was 1970s acrylic knitting, wasn't it? It just went poof. And I remember, I'm surprised you've got
eyebrows.
Yeah, seriously, but I remember to this day, time slowed down
as the realization
came through me and hit my heart. It hit my heart first. That's what felt the emotion first. I just collapsed inward as I reached for this, and of course my mom's grabbing me to pull me back, and I couldn't even cry. There was so much shock that I just stood there, and then the tears came, and I was inconsolable for ages after that. But it was that lesson in, you have to feel that intensity, you have to let the grief come out, and then you'll be able to let it go. But the concern is with this card, when it comes up, is that people are so mired in their grief that they've become stagnant, and they've become chained in their
I think
grief.
sometimes the grief almost becomes our identity, doesn't
Yes,
it?
yes.
Which you can understand when it's been a very significant loss, maybe the loss of a child or the loss of a partner, and it's that significant loss, and then you're left with that identity as like the identity of the widow or the identity of
Yeah,
the bereft parent.
yeah.
Um, so it's a very difficult balance, isn't it? It's that needing to take a step forward when you're ready, but not before.
Yeah, yeah. And it takes,
Allowing those emotions, allowing yourself to feel those emotions, but being able to at some point move forward.
and I think that's why it's in the Suit
Which
of Cups, because
mm,
it requires a lot of intuition to know
mm,
when is when.
yeah, and
You need to have that sense of
but it's a personal thing, isn't it?
very
Nobody
personal.
can say when is the right time. I
No, but
mean,
this is where mindfulness,
mm,
this is why I'm
mm,
saying for
yeah,
me, it's in the Suit of
yeah,
Cups, this,
yeah,
because you have to have that internal dialogue
yeah.
to
Yes,
understand, when do I step forward?
and it's the fact that this grief will have changed you forever,
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
and so you're
Absolutely.
moving forward as a
A new
different
person.
new
Yeah,
person.
absolutely. And that's hard.
Yeah,
That's a really hard thing, to step forward as a brand new
new
person,
person,
because you spend all these years through development, growing up into who you are,
and
and
then
suddenly something comes along and goes, no, no,
somebody's
you're not that
taken that.
anymore. Be something different.
I really
Now,
like
the
this
flip side of
card.
that is just the utter beautiful whimsy of this card.
Yeah. See that I love this depiction, that the fact that about the roots,
Yeah, yeah,
the,
yeah,
the roots that have made you who you are.
yeah, yeah.
You know, that all those different aspects of, you know, your environment, the people in your lives all come together. It's like that tapestry, isn't it, that brings it together. And this is who I am. This is how, you know, how I've grown
Yeah, yeah,
because of the
absolutely.
roots.
And that this is, I guess we should say that traditionally this is the nostalgia card.
Oh yeah, it's looking back,
This is
isn't it?
looking back.
Sometimes it can be looking back with rose-tinted specs as
It
well, I
can,
think.
absolutely, when you live in the past.
Yeah.
Whenever, in fact, my other half and I were talking about this the other day, because
Mm.
we went to Dagfields, and we were
Mm.
in the toy shop there, the
Yeah.
retro toy shop, and
Oh
we were
yeah.
looking at things, and he was talking about his childhood and all this, and he was saying, sometimes I want to do that. It's
Mm.
nice, but other times I'm aware it needs to just go. It's done.
Yes.
It needs to, because it's so easy, and every generation does this. Back in my
A
day,
day,
things were
yes.
better, and it's very easy to get stuck, that
Correct.
like the traditional idea of the high school student that never really moved away and
Yeah.
stays a high school student, and
Yeah.
you go back to your town, village, city, whatever, and you see them, and they're still talking to you about the good old days,
Yeah.
and it's like, no, those were
Yeah.
salad days. They're
Mm.
gone. You
Yeah.
have to move forward. So there is, for all this is beautiful and whimsical, and it is. I like,
Love
you've got the
that.
elephant flying
Yeah.
here. It's the pink. What are you seeing? I'm
Yeah.
seeing pink elephants.
Yeah.
Really, you can get lost, and the fantasy is, it's dark there as
Yes.
well.
And the fact of these like ice creams that
Yes,
or
yeah.
cupcakes, and it's that it's nice in moderation, but if we just ate the cupcakes, we'd feel
We'd be
sick
sick.
and
Absolutely.
unhealthy.
Yeah.
So it's nice to look back, it's nice to reminisce, but we don't want to get stuck in that. I love this. This is just it's so emotional for me,
That is
and obviously for
emotional.
you, like
Yeah.
as dog owners. And
Yeah.
this looks like my dog as well. It's the fact that, you know, that you've grown with them.
Yeah. Yeah,
You know, you've
absolutely.
grown with them,
Absolutely.
and it's the fact that they're still as beautiful, and you love them even more now that they're
Yeah.
old, because you've got that
Yeah.
shared history. You've
Yeah.
built that relationship with them. Whereas when this puppy, like, and then being a child and a puppy together, it's like you're building that, you're exploring the world, aren't you, together? You're
Yeah.
building that connection.
It's so new, isn't it? It's so
Everything's
new and
new,
fresh here. And it's
and the
looking.
playfulness as well.
Yeah.
And sometimes, you know, we leave that playfulness behind, and we've got something even more special.
And then it's nice. I mean, it is nice to look back. I have pictures of my dogs from when they were little, and well, the ones that were little when I had them, and it's really, you kind of feel awe, but it's also being able to put that down. I keep reiterating that because we're in a time now where you're seeing retro things everywhere, where it seems to be nothing new is coming out. Movies, books, television, it's all riffing on our generation's childhood because we like to collect things. We've got all the Legos and the action men or the whatever, and we kind of
like the magic's gone when you bring it back.
Yeah,
I love looking at pictures of things that were, you know, that we had when we were children. Like, oh my goodness! But if you actually brought it back, it's not the same, is it?
No, we tried to rewatch the A-Team. Right?
Oh, yeah.
I loved that show when I was a child. That was just, I can still do the theme tune now. I adored it. It was just brilliant. Buck Rogers was another one. Battlestar Galactica was another one.
A lot of them don't age well.
They really don't age well. And you watch them now, and I was trying to remember how I felt, and I was watching it now and just going, oh no, that's had its day. That's had its day.
Some part of that is the magic of youth, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
You know,
it is. Yeah.
You can watch these things and you think, oh my goodness, that's amazing. Yeah. Because you're not analysing it.
And you haven't seen it 1,000 times in 1,000 different iterations. It's brand new at this point.
Or you haven't just seen it repeated constantly on UK Gold or Dave or whatever it is.
Absolutely.
It's like, I think of Fools and Horses and the fact that when I watched them originally, and I'd be crying with laughter. Yeah. But it makes me think of the scene with the chandelier where it just drops from the ceiling. And I can remember laughing that I could hardly breathe. I was laughing so hard. And now if you watch it, because every time you flick the TV on, things like that are on all the time. And you know it's going to happen. Now, if you've not seen it for a long time and it happens, it's sort of, you think, but it's not the same as that first time I watched it, and not being able to catch my breath because I was laughing so hard.
And sometimes this can be good because it allows you to see how far you've evolved. Yeah. So I remember we rewatched some of the Fawlty Towers. Oh, yeah. And I used to, again, roar with laughter at that. That used to have me on the floor. And now I watch it, and all I can think about is, this is really mean. Yeah. This is really mean. Yeah. I don't like it. This is jokes at the expense of other people all the time. Yeah. I don't like how he's treating Manuel. Yeah. I don't like this whole never mention the war, all this nonsense stuff. I'm tired of these old tropes, and it made me aware. It's not that the show is bad, it's just I've evolved beyond that.
We look at things in a different way. We've had our eyes open to everything, haven't we? More information, more knowledge has become available, and as new generations come through, as with our generation when we came through, and we started saying, you can't say that. Yes. As new generations come through, and it's not that we were bad people for laughing at it, and it's not that it was the people that made it were bad for
because they were working within the zeitgeist of the time.
But it's had its day.
I think, actually, do you know what it makes me think of? You know, when there is all the there's all this screaming about people rewriting history, and here Bristol was the one of the centers of the slave trade. And do you remember a little while ago when they were taking the statues down, and you had a lot of people screaming that statues shouldn't come down, it's our history, da da da. And I thought about that, and it's the realization that, again, like, some of the statues that came down were of men who, yes, they did amazing things for their home city. They did. You can't deny that. But they were also integral to
at the expense of
other people, and in a huge way, like in an enormous way, that they conducted a slave trade that made them the money that allowed them to do what they did. But like you said, at the expense, a horrible expense. And my argument to it was, you don't just pull the statues down. You need to know them in context. You need to put them in a museum. You need to put them somewhere where you can have a plaque or a board that explains.
And we learn from
it. We learn that this person did these things, which we think are great because we're still benefiting them. But we must understand that they did them from this awful thing. And that no, you can't rip away what they created in that city because it's integral to the city. But if you have people understand that we want to evolve, we don't want to go back to times like that because it was horrific. You can't, I guess what I'm saying is you can't run from your past. You want to know you've evolved. Like I've heard this said before, and I take this to heart sometimes when I get lost in my own head about things I've done in the past that I'm ashamed of or upset about or whatever. And it's been said that, but the fact that you feel remorse shows you've evolved from that time. It shows that you're not going to do that thing again. So be kind to yourself because we're allowed to screw up. We're allowed to have messed up ideas. And as we gain more information and knowledge and nuance, we grow away from those old ideas. And that's actually a really beautiful thing.
Yes, it's that thing, isn't it, that just because we've done something bad doesn't make us a bad person.
Yeah. If you evolve from it. Yes.
Yes.
And what I found with the whole statue thing, the people who were naysaying the pulling down of these statues, I thought, you sound very stuck in your history.
Yes, because we're taught history, or we were taught history very much in a black and white way. That what we did was right and what other people did was wrong.
History is written by the winners.
In some ways, that's true. When we look at, the Second World War, and we look at, what we did there. But there's always, it's nothing's black and white,
Nothing
is there? And we didn't treat other people in the way that we would want to be treated.
Absolutely.
So it's certainly in other aspects of history that we've, as a country, we've done some terrible things. Which, to me,
it's acknowledging that, though, isn't it? It's acknowledging that history and saying, have we evolved?
Yes, and learn from it.
And learn from it, and have we evolved? And also to be able to say, and this is a tough one, I apologize, I truly feel remorse, but because I've evolved, I have to leave that remorse behind.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you always carry remorse with you, but you can't, if you live dwelling in it, now you stagnate.
Yeah.
And
you go back to that.
You go back to that.
4 and 5.
The 4, exactly. So, this is what we were talking about at the beginning.
That's so quick.
It's brilliant, isn't it? It's getting lost in fantasy, this.
Yes.
The emotion of dreams.
Castles in the sky, isn't it?
Castles in the sky.
I really like this because there's a way through. Emotionally, there's a way through, but you've got to be clever about what route you choose to take to get to the sea.
Yes. And that not is all as it seems. I like Barbara Moore describes this card in that way. She says, some of them is like the flamingo, you've got cakes, it's all really exciting, but some is monsters and ghosts, and that you need to know when you get lost in fantasy, it's very easy to make decisions moving forward that aren't based in reality. They're based on what you want them to be rather than what they actually are.
These are all based, aren't they, on things that occur in different cards. Everything that we've got. So we've got like the wreath, which is in the 6 of Cups, and I think in the world as well, isn't it?
But it's the wreath with the skull into the thing. So is this leading to, like, when you think the laurel wreath was worn by the victors, wasn't it?
At what cost?
At what cost?
At what cost?
And what does it bring you?
The treasure. And I really should have looked at what all these have come from, because I can't remember.
The castle is about adventure. You've got the Godhead, which is about spirituality.
Does this come from the Tower? Is this the...
No, I was looking at this earlier, actually. And she, in the 78 Degrees of Wisdom, she was talking about this as being that you've got the dragon, which can be danger. You've got, this is wanting wealth. Yeah. This is adventure. It's the castle. And it's wanting adventure. The snake represents psychic wisdom. And you've got the Godheads that are spiritual growth, but they can also indicate you've got lost, you're not grounded, you've got lost too high in yourself, as it were. And that some of these things will be good, like some of them can be grounding, but some of them you can get lost. And it's like, this to me is the card of your own snake oil salesman.
Yeah, you've got to make the choice. You've got all these options, but you've got to make the choices that are right. And it's one of those,
using your
isn't it?
intuition.
Yeah, but it's one of those, isn't it? Sometimes if it's too good to be true, then
Yes,
it is.
absolutely. And that's the thing of the emotion. For me,
which one are you going
it's the
to?
getting carried away that you, and you see this a lot. I get this certainly with clients that come. You get this with them injuring themselves. So they will go off and they will do a sport, an activity or something, and they will injure themselves, and they will come and say, why has this happened? I always used to do this sport.
Yeah.
And I'll say to them, yeah, you did, but you're 20 years older now. So you've got more mileage on the clock. The idea, which we are sold, that if you buy the right creams and put the right lotions on,
take
and
the right supplements,
go to the right gyms, do the right things, that you can maintain your youth. You cannot. You can stay healthy, but your health has to be with whatever age you're in. And they will talk about it like, why has this happened?
Because
right?
we see this with sports people, don't we? That, they at their peak in a sport, like with football, beyond a certain age, you don't see people playing at the top flight.
No.
Because the body ages, you lose your pace, you lose your stamina.
And you've had repetitive injuries.
Yes.
You've had minor repetitive injuries that slowly but surely wear down the joints, wear everything down. And so it's the recognition that what you want it to be is not always what it is. You must use your intuition. And this card for me is about being incredibly honest with yourself.
Yes.
About what is it? What is your motivation? Why are you seeing all of these things? What is it that you're wanting?
And how will it make you feel?
How will it make you
How
feel?
will it make
Absolutely.
you feel? Because we've got the emotional impact of it, because it's the cups. How will it make you feel?
Like this ladder's going to nowhere, right? Where are you climbing to? What are you doing? You've got the water is seeping out. This has got a hole in it, and it's seeping out. The snake is escaping away. Is that a snake? It looks like a snake to me. Yeah, they're all escaping out the bottom. They're leaking away. So it's
it's funny you say that, because I always see it as it being a pathway to the sea.
Oh,
to the
interesting.
Because you've got to see the depth of your emotions. And I always see, if you go that way, it's whereas you've got all these things that are sidetracking you. You've got the ladders, and you've got the clouds, which aren't allowing you to necessarily see clearly what's
because for me this is it's almost upside down, and it's that's interesting.
Isn't it amazing though how we all see things differently?
Yeah, and they're all valid as well, which is why we're wanting to show different cards to let people understand that your interpretations.
See, to me here we've got the moon, which is about the intuition,
but I always get this mixed up. I should know this properly. Is that the waxing moon or the waning moon?
I don't know. I should know.
Waxing is when it's coming on, and the waning
is when it's going
past
from
the
full
and
to
it's going down.
I think is that the.
Oh, now we're getting caught, and I can't even check it and look it up because we don't have the phones here. So,
but and then see, to me this is like the sun, and because this cup's upside down and all the other, we're able to catch the light in that one.
These are looking at the hidden. These are looking at the things that might not be real, whereas that one is trying to
we've got that reminder that actually the light of the moon is a reflection of the sunlight.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not that the moon lights up. It's the fact that the sun lights up the moon, and it's the earth, isn't it, that causes the shapes of the moon, whether it's full or whether it's new or whether it's in between waxing or waning.
Absolutely.
So it's that, isn't it, that it's making smart choices, making choices from an emotional point of view as well, because we're with the cups, we've got to see it as going with your intuition or going with how it feels.
It's almost like if you think about what emotion do you choose to go with? So do you choose to go with like anger? Do you choose to go with apathy and sadness and depression? Do you choose to go with positivity? Do you choose to go with the spark adventure? That it's within your grasp to choose what emotion you decide to follow.
Yeah.
We have, that's the one thing we have control of, is what goes on inside us in terms of our emotion.
We can't choose how the external world manifests itself, and people may make decisions that make us, make things difficult for us, but it's about how we choose to react and how we choose to feel.
And so it can be an empowering card in terms of, are you going to be a grown-up about your emotions?
Yeah, you do have a choice in how you feel, don't you?
Of course you do.
You can choose to wallow in things. You can choose to see the negativity, or you can choose to take it as a lesson, and sort of where do we go from here?
Yeah. Make sure they're in the frame. There we go.
Right.
This is
the departure card, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
This is walking away from those emotions that aren't serving
you.
us,
No.
and having the insight or the wisdom to listen to your heart.
Yeah.
And
interestingly, this is the only card that shows them broken.
They're all broken. Yeah.
This and this show them upright. And one of the explanations that I've read about, and I like this, is she was saying, this is you choosing to walk away from what is a good situation.
Yeah.
It's just not fulfilling for you anymore. You're looking at it and you're saying, I need to find a deeper sense of self. And even though my cups are all upright and they're full, and we've got piglets, we've got all these wonderful heart tying things.
When I saw that, I was thinking pigs might fly. So it's that Is it real?
Yeah.
Is it too good to be
to be true? Yeah.
So I'm walking away from it because it's not the right thing. I don't feel like it's I can't think of the word. I don't feel like it's real.
Yeah. Well, this is it. This is what I think, it's having the courage to do that. Like, you think about leaving a relationship just because you no longer feel connected to that person. They're not bad. They haven't done anything wrong. You still have a great deal of caring for them. And that's got to be the hardest thing to do, is to say to somebody, I don't have any animosity towards you. It's just that I'm not fulfilled.
And I'm breaking, it's like breaking all those cups, like breaking somebody's heart.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's being able to say, this is where I use the term, for me, this is where energy and frequencies come in. I've learned in my life at this stage that if I get involved in something where I am continually coming up against obstacles, where I can't do right for doing wrong, if no matter what kind of advice I give, it's misconstrued and taken the wrong way. I used to take it personally, but now I go, my frequencies are just not gelling here. No. I have to walk away from this. It doesn't matter how much I may want this to work. This is not in its form at the moment, in the iteration that it is. This is not fulfilling for me. And I need to have something deeper. I need to move.
There's something else for you.
There's something else. And the author of the 78 Degrees is, what's her name?
Rachel Pollack.
Rachel Pollack, thank you. You're very, very good with names. I never remember them. She talked about this as being linked with the Hermit card. That he's going to climb the mountain and he's going to find that solitude. He's leaving all the, you think of like the story of the Buddha, Siddhartha Gautama, and he was a prince.
Yes,
and
he giving that
away.
Up.
He gave it up. He said, I need to go and find my spiritual self, that is the true core of me and the sustaining. And all the rest of this stuff is just, it's kind of earthly emotions. It's I don't want to be tied up in that anymore. And I've often maintained this. This is probably my one issue with organized religion, and I use that term deliberately, organized religion, is that when I read about across religious belief systems, whether it be Western, whether it be Eastern, ancient belief systems, the people who were considered the mystics, the saints, the Sufis, they all buggered off on their own.
Yeah.
They took themselves away because the minute you and this is the contradiction in terms that we have to live within in this world. The minute you codify something, the minute you write it all down, a group of you get together and we say, this is now our mission statement, this is our codex, this is what we follow. You stop it growing. You stop yourself from being allowed to change within it, because you have now constrained yourselves within the written word. Whereas the mystics took themselves off to mountaintops and caves and sandy beaches in the middle of nowhere and islands in the middle of nowhere, because the only way you truly know yourself spiritually is to be with yourself. You know, and the minute you start bringing worldly things in, the emotions that the world creates in you, it's a distraction.
It's a distraction, isn't it? And it's very hard to sit with yourself and sit with your emotions.
Very hard.
We know from sitting in meditation just how difficult it is.
That your mind keeps going. And this is saying, I have a bigger purpose for me within myself. I have a bigger calling. I need to explore more. And I've got to walk away from those earthly emotions. Right. Then we move into
the 9.
The 9.
The lovely 9, the wish card.
The wish card. I sometimes call it the luck card.
Somebody said how I think it's more. I think it's in more in the actual Rider-Waite, where he looks a bit like John Travolta.
I love it.
But it's also that reminder, isn't it, that sometimes there's too much of a good thing.
Yes.
Because he looks very sort of like rounded, doesn't he? And you know, like he's had a bit too much.
Well, I think of Absalom in Alice in Wonderland. You know, Absalom for me is always, I love him as a character, but he's always a bit of a shifty character. You don't know what's he smoking in that hookah pipe. Are his words grounded, honest words, or are his words coming from another place? So it's the wish card. What do we want it to be? You know,
I mean, we've got this. What he's got, we've got the stability, because we've got the, you know, the solid stool or table that he's sitting on. But here we don't know what this is on, do we? Because it's all covered up.
And he's sat. It makes me think of those game shows, you know, or like, what is it that I've never really watched it, but that The Voice, is it, where they sit with their backs to the people and they don't really know what's going on. They think they know, and then they turn around and they see something completely different to what they thought it was. And there's a bit of a smugness in this card that I think you have to be careful of. It's a beautiful card as a wish card. It's about possibilities. It's about, you know, anything, but it's
emotional fulfillment in its true essence. But then when we have too much of something, it can come over to greed and being a bit self-satisfied.
Self-satisfied. There's a bit of smugness there. And like this one, I see her as almost she's thrown them all up in the air. It's the wish card. It's which one's going to land for me. Do you know what I mean? And
I prefer this depiction because it's like she's opening herself up to the possibilities. It's not, you know, and it's not, I'm sitting here and I've got all these behind me, and it's almost like you've got to get past me to get to any of this. And it's interesting because his hands, I don't know, are they over his heart? He crossed over his heart. So what you know, why aren't you being fully in the moment? Whereas hers are like thrown back, aren't they? Her heart's open, it's all exposed. So I suppose it's how you take it, really. It's, you know, it should be a really good card. But we don't want to go into that's where we go into the realms of it being too much of a good thing.
As a wish card, it's, I mean, nines are nearing the end of the journey. Nines are almost fulfillment, hence it being a wish.
Do you know what he makes me think of? You know, these couples on social media that have to post like everything, and it's like, what are you trying to hide? Because are you just trying to make yourself feel better? Because you're constant. I don't mean just like the normal pictures, but it's like documenting their lives on social media, and like through this filter again of,
they think, if they do this filter, it's going to make what their life is actually going to be that way, rather than recognizing that you're kind of lost in a wish. Yeah, that having the wish is great, but I think this card particularly is very dependent on what surrounds it in a deck, in a reading.
And if we're going to get to that fulfillment of the 10, we've just got to make sure that this is actually the right thing
for us. Yeah, that we've you need to have the other suits around this card for it to manifest itself. Yeah. This is its pure wish. This is your emotional intuition, where anything is possible, but you feel pretty grounded, that you're coming at it from a good place. There's light.
Yeah.
You know, you look at the colors here. This is, you've got the blue of the heart and throat chakra coming up into the
horseshoe shape, isn't it? As
yeah,
well. So
for
like
luck.
It's looking.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, if I pulled the 9, if I was doing a one card read, you know, if I was asking a question and I was pulling one card and I got this, I'd be like,
yeah, it's a yes,
brilliant. You know, on the, but we're going beyond that, aren't we? We know that every card has light and shade.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
As does every situation within life.
So now we move on to the 10.
The 10. Oh,
so now we've got into the happy ever after card.
Do you know what? I love this card with the rainbow, because it ties in with the 4 and with the 2, where we've got the rainbows in that one.
And we've got, we move them up here so this people can see them. There we are. Yeah, it's rainbows, isn't it? All of them, they're rainbows. You know, you've got the pink sky here. They're singing, they're joyous. There's a fulfillment.
Yeah,
it's the king and queen. You've got the family here, don't you? It's you've come to a place of true emotional fulfillment, where it's
like all these cups are filling each other, aren't they?
And it's contentment. It's contentment in a good way, like not a stagnant contentment. It's I've you know, it's like, it makes me think of the end of the hero's journey in the stories, where they've been through all of the transformations and the trials, and they come home and they're so glad to be back to their they see their little hut that they were desperate to get away from at the beginning of the journey, and they come back to it and they think, oh my goodness, I love this hut. I love that it's quiet. I love that it's in the woods. I love that it's still, you know, this is a beautiful place to be. You've found that sense of self, which allows you, because it's funny, I was talking about this the other day with regard to family, and we were saying how, you know, I look at certain people within my family and I realize, like, they should never have been married, for example, that they had their traumas that they were dealing with, and because they hadn't sorted those traumas out, they were not capable of being vulnerable in the intimacy of a family.
So when you bring them together, it's actually amplifying the trauma.
Absolutely.
You know, and
absolutely. That it takes, there is an incredible vulnerability in being willing to open your heart within the intimacy of a family. So you often hear this, like I hear it a lot at the moment.
Which takes us back to the 2, takes us back to the 2. Know, that where we
if you come together properly, if you come, absolutely, because in order to be here, if you want to truly have that familial intimacy, you give your heart to your other half, you give your heart to your children, you give your heart to your extended family, you give your heart to that.
It's very much being together, isn't it? Warts and all. Whereas here we're still quite innocent, and
you know, it's new. We haven't actually committed yet.
Here we've got the kids, so you know, you've been through the childbirth almost. You know, which is not pretty.
And I think that's why it's such an empowering card, because it's showing what happens when you're willing to allow that vulnerability. When you say to that other person, here is my heart, and not only here is my heart, but we've got a house together, we've got kids, we've got responsibility, we are now tied together.
And you don't have to have the children. It doesn't
have to be the children,
you know. But I think
it's having things together, though.
It makes it's just that putting the children there is giving a level of commitment, isn't it?
I think
it's showing the level of commitment.
For me, the children are symbolizing when you've tied with somebody, you've created something with somebody, and you've tied yourself to them voluntarily.
That's the word I was symbolizing.
It can be anything. It can be literally anything. You know, you could tie yourself to them in business. You could tie yourself to them in hobbies. You could tie yourself to them in all kinds of things.
But
those are
that's
things
what
that mean
mean.
something to you.
Yeah.
And so if
So
that
things that
you
tie
need,
you to that person, because you can divorce afterwards, but you've still got that
bond is
of
always going to
those
remain.
children.
And so that's why I keep going back to the idea of the courage and power that comes from being willing to be vulnerable with another human being.
Yeah.
And the whole point of the journey of the cups is that you've used your intuition to pick the right person.
Yeah,
you've used your intuition
we've been
to
through perhaps all of these stages within the relationship. We've got the ace where it's beautiful and it's lovely and it's new, and again here, where we're coming together, we're making a commitment on some form.
And then you've got joyous celebration,
the honeymoon period. We're having a lovely
you're having
time.
a wedding.
We're enjoying it. And then we get here and real life hits, and maybe some home truths as well, because you're bouncing off each other, aren't you?
Yeah.
And you uncover those things where you know what to say to upset somebody else.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I mean about how vulnerable that is, in a beautiful way. The courage it takes to go, I'm going to give you this information and I will trust you with it.
But then maybe we need to look back at why we first fell in love.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then make smart choices. And it might be a departure from our old life as well. It may be saying, that actually this is the commitment. It's almost like here. I almost think of this is a wedding, and this is retaking
your vows. Because you've elevated to a higher purpose with that within that relationship.
Yeah, and then with the 9. Yeah, we're a bit smug because maybe we are the smug marrieds that are on social media, and maybe it is real, and maybe that's just how we are.
It's just it's that wish card, isn't it?
That's what we want, and we want this. Everybody wants this.
Of course we do.
In some form or another.
Some form.
They may not want it with a romantic partnership, but we all want to be in this space within this
is
heart
community.
Space.
To me, this is community. It doesn't just, because family can mean a lot of things to a lot of different people, and it doesn't have to be this traditional nuclear family.
And it doesn't have to mean the blood relations either.
It doesn't.
Can be those friends that we bring in that become family. We've got loads of them as the kids have grown up, and we've got friends of theirs that we think of as our
people who haven't had kids, and you come together. You find a community of like-minded people.
You love them like you love your own children.
Absolutely.
So
these are so beautiful. Those two, really, really lovely cards. And then we get into the court cards, which can be a little bit more confusing.
It's always that thing, isn't it, with them? Is it a person? Is it an energy? Is it a situation?
Is it you and your archetype, or is it an external person? But what we can say is the pages are youth, as in young, new. They're messengers.
They are. They're
that cherubic energy, aren't
they? They're excited. And they see the wonder in things, don't they? They're seeing the newness in things. They're looking at it with fresh eyes.
Yeah, they are, and they're seeing it pure. They're not.
I love this. Just look how it's just gliding on the water because I can.
Little signet, little fluffy signet.
So lovely, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then this one. I always feel this is like reaching out to spirit as well whenever I get this, because we've got the 2 hands forming the heart shape.
Yeah.
And it's almost like just that reminder that, you're never alone.
Yes, in spirit. You've always got your guides with you. But I do love how this is the whimsy of childhood, the flying pig. You've got the pigs don't fly. And this makes me think of youth, a kid at the beach.
Yeah.
There's your beach hut. You're looking at your pure psychic intuitive energy peeping out, and it's just pure. There's no nuance to it yet. You're seeing it real. Like when you give a kid a toy at Christmas, and for them that, I don't know, that Barbie car is a real Barbie car. Like it's a car for them. They put all their fantasy and imagination into it.
Isn't it? I mean, with this, it's that again, it's that wonder, isn't it? It's that anything's possible. We
Yes.
can do anything
Yeah.
because we believe, and that's as children, we're very aware of spirit as
We
well
are,
because
yeah.
the world hasn't taught us that that's
To
not
shut it off
something,
yet. Yeah,
that's not
absolutely.
something that we do.
Possibilities.
Yeah,
It doesn't occur to us that I can't be speaking to somebody that no one else can see.
through
Why,
adult eyes
you know?
it's disjointed, it doesn't work, but through innocent eyes, through that wonder that we've not been conditioned.
Yeah. Yeah,
And I think
absolutely.
that's a really lovely card. I really like that.
And then we move on, and this again, for me, this is the developmental stages, because for me, the Knight of Cups is your teenager.
Yeah, I also think the Knight of Cups is very immature when it comes to relationships.
Absolutely.
I see, because I hear, the fact that he's there with the roses. Yeah, he might come across as being sort of deep and meaningful, maybe like the tortured musician or the
Yeah, the
tortured
artist.
poet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
But he very much makes me think of somebody that he wants to put you on a pedestal, and then when the everyday parts of the relationship come into play, he can't handle it.
Yeah.
Because he wants a romanticized version of life.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, when he realizes that you aren't this princess that he's put on a pedestal,
Yes. Yeah.
is sort of interest wanes a little bit when he realizes that you snore and what you look
Yeah.
like first thing in the morning without your makeup on.
Yeah.
That
And
then he wants to run away. He gets itchy feet.
And I think, yeah, it makes me think of very much what you said. I think of when I look at the Rider-Waite-Smith, it makes me think of the idea of how they developed chivalric love. So the idea of chivalric love, where it was French poets, I think, the storytellers of King Arthur and all of that back in the day, they created chivalric love, didn't they? They created this ideal form that the man took this role and the woman took this role, and that he would be forever altruistic and honorable towards her, and she would be always gentle and kind. And it's a fantasy, and it almost creates an apathy, because it's like,
you can't live up to expectations.
You can't live up to expectations. And this, in the Alice in Wonderland card, the knight, he's very much a Don Quixote.
Yeah.
He's got great stories. He spins you a great tale. He's got all this beautiful imagery. You jump in the van with him and you go off, and he's got his guitar in the back, and he's amazing, and he's full of this. And then, you realize he doesn't know how to keep money for petrol, and there's no food in the van. And when you're saying things like, maybe we need to stay still and be a bit grown up for a little while because we need the money, he goes, you're greasing my vibe, man, or whatever it is they say. I got, you know what I mean?
I think his intentions are
intentions are good. He's not a bad person,
but it's just that we haven't got the emotional maturity to actually perhaps
have staying power.
Yeah, to have that stability.
And I must say as well, we've said he a lot, because interestingly, it often depicts the bloke, but it goes across all. There's no gender on this.
Yeah.
This is apathy.
It's perhaps a more yang trait. It's the action trait, isn't it? I want to,
but it's the yang trait without grounding. It's yang trait without the maturity. You're not grounded enough to realize that all of this romantic gesture stuff is lovely, and living in that fantasy of what you want the world to be is lovely, but that's not actually what the real world is.
It's
and
not,
you need
we want that
power.
real life.
Yeah.
At some point we've got to go back to real life. We can't live in that honeymoon period forever.
So if someone like this comes into your life, they can bring narcissistic traits with them. They can bring traits where they really don't want you to spoil their image of how they're stuck in cosplay role. You know what I mean? They're creating this fantasy world that they love, and it's great, but you got to step out of that into the real world sometimes. And if you're not, you stagnate, because eventually you can sit there in your Dungeons and Dragons costume and live in your best cosplay life, which is beautiful. It's fun. I mean, I love that kind of stuff. But if you live in that, the people in the real world walk away from you.
Yeah. What are you trying to escape in reality?
Exactly.
I think sometimes the Knight of Cups has been quite wounded as well.
Yeah.
On a deeper level.
Yeah.
And there's usually a reason.
Yes.
this fear of perhaps commitment.
Yes.
The big showy gestures are there, and the initial sort of, maybe the proposition of marriage, maybe or as they do now, we'll become partners. We're not just dating.
They're
I always get
living
confused with that.
I always think of them as living. This energy is, it's living in little silos where you're doing all these little actions, but you're not connecting the dots. So it's almost an addiction card to emotion in a way. You get that addiction to the big gesture feeling. You get the addiction to seeing the other person go, oh, and you feel really good, and it makes you feel like you're worth something. But you can't sustain that, because what people really want, it's not built on stable. They want you to walk with them.
Look, he's on the sand there. It's not.
He's
stable.
on the stand.
And here, it's not stable, is it?
No.
You know.
And they can't see that this is all parched. You know what I mean? That you need to figure out a way to irrigate the land. This to me, again, it's a bit stagnant. It's a bit boggy. It's a bit, you can't see. He's lifting it up to the emotions aren't clear.
No.
He's lifting it up to spirit. He's holding the chalice up. He's like, here, and I'm going to keep, but he keeps falling off his horse. He keeps dropping things. He can't, because he refuses to go, I don't need all this stuff while I'm wandering around.
Yeah.
You know?
Definitely.
And now we move into
the Queen.
Probably what can be considered probably one of the most mature cards in the deck, in terms of she knows who she is.
She does have to watch, though, that she doesn't become the martyr.
Yes.
Because of having that, well, the Queens are obviously the water energy.
Water element.
So again, we don't want to have that stagnation, because of, she's taking on everybody else's stuff as well.
Yeah.
We don't want to get stuck. But she's also very psychic. She's also very in tune. And when she knows what she wants and she focuses on it, we can bring it.
And when you look here, I hadn't noticed this before, but it was I was reading about it again, and it was pointing this out, how big her chalice is in comparison.
Yeah.
Her chalice
and how grand it is,
and how grand it is, because she is in tune with spirit. She is in tune with her own emotions. She is willing to look in the mirror.
She's part of the water,
She's
isn't
part
she?
of the
Here,
water.
look at her cape, and it's almost rippled, isn't it? But then her gown just becomes part of the water. We can't see her feet at all. She is just that. And she, that we've got the angels around, haven't we? The cherubs. It's that, I suppose, that mother figure.
Yes.
But also
that nourishing figure. She's a nourishing figure, nurturer, and she's very much she's understands that she can be both shadow and light and all once, and that there's flow.
Bringing that here, aren't we?
We bring the flow
and
in.
And again, we're hands back, chest out. Really sort of feeling that emotion, heart open, living with heart open.
And this is, when you look at the left and right hand and what they signify, this is your right hand is your giving hand and your left hand is your receiving, and she's taking them equally.
Yes.
She understands, this is what I love about her maturity. She understands that it's just as important that she takes as she gives.
Yes, because we don't want to come into that martyr energy, which is
where we give, and we become a dried husk inside because we've given too much. You have to have healthy selfishness, and she understands that.
And it's like, almost like here, I feel with this card, it's very much, if you open your heart, you open your mind, because look how the crown's elevated from the top of her head. It's gone, we're going beyond. So we're going into an even more sort of intuitive, psychic, connected level, where the crown chakra is open, and actually the crown is raised up.
Well, when you, as we said earlier about the heart housing the mind, so when you're willing to face all the facets of you and give them all a seat at the table, so everything is equal and therefore it can flow, it takes away the blocks and the obstacles and the restrictions and allows you to have that psychic opening.
But look at here. I mean, this is the mother that's, she might not be the fierce, Queen of Wands, but you touch her babies and she's coming, she's going to have you.
You don't mess with her.
No.
She might do it in a gentle way. She might do it in a soft way. Do you know what I think of with the Queen of Wands? It's more the mother that looks at you with such sadness and disappointment in her eyes that she doesn't have to raise a hand. She doesn't have to scream and yell. She doesn't have to do anything. You just immediately want to make it right.
That I'm not angry, I'm disappointed.
I'm disappointed, which is the worst, isn't it?
No.
Because anger at least is something explosive and external, whereas when they just look and go, that's fine, I'm just disappointed that you would do this.
And
you feel that emotion of how you've been selfish, say, and let somebody down. And she's very good with that. That's the queen.
Yeah.
Definitely. And then we have the king. Last but not least, we have the king. He's a bit of a funny one, I think, in this deck. I think he's, for me, because we're talking about emotions, he is connected? Is he choosing to turn his back on emotion and be responsible, or is he suppressing his emotions and saying, I push them down because I'm going to be the externally facing responsible adult?
In the sort of positive vein of the king, I feel like he's mastered his emotions.
Right. Okay.
He's comfortable with his emotions. He's not going to bolt because things get tough or because we're having a deep and meaningful conversation. I feel like there's the maturity to have these conversations, to be, he's a man that's not afraid to cry. Or the person that's not, sorry, I shouldn't say man, but obviously it's letting down that masculine facade. Or that overly masculine facade,
toxic masculinity,
and saying, actually, it's okay to cry. No matter who you are, it's okay to feel emotions. Emotions aren't things to be scared of. But then if we take it into its more negative trait, sometimes I feel like the emotions are quite overwhelming. I very often get him coming up in a reading if there's somebody who's got addiction issues, especially alcohol.
Okay. The
King of Cups, because it's almost like he's drowning in it.
Right.
Yeah. But that would be, now I don't read reversals because I get too antsy about having some upside down and so. But it's feeling into whether it's the shadow side of it or the positive aspect or somewhere in between. There's so many nuances, aren't there? That we can't just say this is positive, this is negative.
No.
This is really where you have to look at the other cards around it and feel into it as well.
Yeah, I agree. I look at the king in this, particularly this card. This is why I like this one. It's so expressive for me. Is depending on what's around it.
He's really riding out the emotions.
Is he riding out the emotions, or is he being swept away?
Yes.
It depends. He's got all the cards. It's upright. He's sat. He's not looking.
See, this is the first time that I've seen these cards. Right. Same with you with
yours. Yeah.
So we're getting like a first-hand perspective.
This makes me think of an Earth Father. Yeah, that's what I think of when I look at this card. I see him, the starfish. And when I think of a starfish, he accepts that the tides come in and they cover the starfish, and then they go out and they leave the starfish on the beach, and they come in, and it's just this flow constantly.
And he's also got this fish here, so it's like the sort of that, I don't know whether it's the religious aspect necessarily, but maybe more of a spiritual
aspect. Yeah. And you've got like the black swan. I mean, swans mate for life anyway. And the black swans are even more unusual because you don't see as many of them. But I find when I look at this one, again, it's
clouds are very dark.
They're very dark. The water, to me, this looks like a rising wave. Yeah. When you're starting to see the water get a little bit crazy, there's a little bit of anger in the water. And I'm always undecided. So it depends on what's around it. Like I said, whether he is absolutely like, I'm riding this. I'm solid.
I'm putting my
trust in my intuition and my faith. I'm fine. I'm good. Or is he being swept out to sea?
Yeah.
That because he's suppressed his emotion, he's not watching.
It's a fine line between the two.
It is a fine line between the two. Absolutely. Either are possible. I
think the cups, more than any other suit, perhaps show that.
Yes.
Because emotions are so complex,
Well, they
aren't
are.
they? They're
They
so
cover all
complex,
the
and they
and
can
contradictions can exist in the
yes,
same
and they
space.
can change from one minute to the next. Um,
And I
and
see.
sometimes we don't have that control over how our emotions are.
No, not necessarily. It takes a lot of practice. And I think when I look at the King of Cups card, it does make me think when I come across clients, male clients, who, with the best of intentions, they were raised under very conditions where it was the men were men. So the men went and they were the breadwinners, and they worked and they brought the money in, and they did the lawn in, and they did the DIY, and they did all this, but they're drowning.
Yeah,
they're drowning in their work. They haven't got the raise they thought they were going to get, and money's really tight, and the kids are getting older and need more stuff, but they don't know how to say,
yeah, I'm not okay.
I'm not okay. I can't do this anymore.
Societal expectation, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Of the thing that I hate, the man up.
The man up. Yeah. I'm tough. I don't ever ask for help because I'm the head of the family.
Yeah.
And it's that very childlike idea.
To be vulnerable.
And you hear this reiterated a lot at the moment, which concerns me. This idea that we go back to this: the man is the head and the woman is subservient.
I think
blah, blah, blah.
There's certain parts of society that are trying to push that narrative again, isn't it? Because whether it's because they feel threatened, but almost that men are men and women are.
But it's toxic for everybody, because in a world where money is harder to earn and bills are going up and costs are going up, and so you need to be able to turn to each other as a unit. You cannot do this thing of, well, it's my role to be the breadwinner, so I won't tell my wife that I've taken out extra loans to cover things because I can't afford, and I won't say I'll do, and this happens a lot. They get stuck in that toxic idea of what it is to be a man, and then before you know it, they've been swept away, and I know of cases where sadly they're no longer with us, and the families are left to then pick up the pieces,
turn to things
or turn to addictions, or turn to like they're gambling, or they're whatever. And this happens because they haven't been told that, or taught, I should say, it's okay to say, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not okay. I cannot carry this burden. I really, really need some help. And I think that for me, this card, depending on what's around it, can indicate both those things. Definitely. So anyway, we've come to the end.
That was interesting.
That was very, very interesting. It's because it's such a hard one to pin down, the cups, I think, because it's emotions, and as we were just saying,
such a broad spectrum.
It's such a broad spectrum, and it can make it really, really difficult. But I think probably the suit of cups, more than anything, need to have the cards around them to signify which direction we're going in. I'm just going to move them over briefly for a last shot so anybody looking can see. I think they really do need the cards around them. But they're very, very interesting, and you can spend a lot of time contemplating on these cards. I think a lot of time contemplating on them.
Yes, I think the cups as well really invite you to look at your own emotions. And that's why it can be so complex. And sometimes we do need, if we're reading for ourselves, sometimes we do need those other cards to give us context.
Yeah, I agree.
With them.
Right. So
fantastic.
If you've stayed with us to the end,
well done again.
Well done. Thank you very much. We hope this has been helpful. Again, as we keep saying, please like and subscribe, as it helps us, as we're very, very new to the YouTube channels. And if you've got any comments that you'd like to make, any suggestions, any thoughts on what we've said, maybe we've missed stuff that you pick up on that you'd like to make a comment on, and say, actually, I think about it in this way, or I think you missed this, or I've learned something, because we all grow by learning from each other. So anything you've got to add, please feel free to do so.
Yes, because we will learn from that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And next time we're going to do swords. So swords will be, they're a bit of a one. Dealing with the swords, they can be a bit of a dark journey into the mind. So we will have that one out we'll meet again in 2 weeks.
We will.
So thank you very much, everybody.
Yes, thank you.
Be well, stay shiny, and take care.
Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye for now.